Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and today I'm going to announce to you the release of the Timex Marlin Auto. The Timex Marlin reissue, which I did a video of it several months ago, was easily considered a knockout for Timex. Timex, takes a licking and keeps on ticking, that digital watch brand that most millennials might know, used to make obviously mechanical watches. And they re-released the original hand-winding Marlin about a year ago, 34 millimeter. I have it. I want to show it to you in comparison. And then just now in October, they released this automatic version, which is a little bit larger, slightly different styling, but it really is a knockout. It's a great watch. We'll go on over and check it out. I'm only wearing actually one wristwatch today. I know, I'm sorry. It's the 009 on the Super Jubilee and single domed sapphire crystal. Let's head on over and check out the new Marlin Auto. So in front of you here, I've got the 3 Marlins that are in the current collection. I believe there is a 4th model, a burgundy dial, but it's not available yet from Timex. So they've made 3 varieties. All of them start with the same part number of TW2T. I'll put links down below because they're long part numbers. You've got a silver dial in a silver case. You have a black dial in a silver case and a black dial in a yellow gold tone case. As usual, they're all the same except for the color of the dial, strap, and case. So I will start with one and then move on to the rest. I'm going to start with the silver dial, only because I think it's going to be the most popular and I think it's the one that's best suited for a complete twisty-turny here. But before we get into it, I want to just bring up the Marlin reissue that came out last year. This is the mechanical hand-winding watch. I guess the one that kind of started the entire craze. And it's, 34 millimeter, and this guy is around 40 millimeters. So you can see there's a pretty substantial difference in size. So those of you, this one's too small, maybe you'll complain this is too big. I hope not. 38 millimeters would have been a nice size, but I don't think they would be able to squeeze the movement into a 38 millimeter case. But anyway, so yeah, this was the Marlin reissue at 34. And so now we have the Auto at 40. So this is 40 millimeters in diameter. It is 13 millimeters thick, and maybe a little bit thick, but that's because you have a domed mineral crystal there. You can see my finger rubbing against it. It is 48 millimeters on the tip to tip, and it is a 20 millimeter lug width. So very common size. You can switch it up if you want, but the strap is it's a kind of a special strap. The strap leather comes from the SB Foot Tanning Company. So like a lot of the other Timexes that use special leather, no exception, not a cheap strap at all. It's actually a really nice high quality strap. And again, I can't stress enough that being Timex, there is going to be quality built into it. I know that when I flip it over and you look at the sticker and you say, oh, Movement Japan, strap China, you might start to flip out, but this is Timex. The Marlin, the Marlin reissue, one of the largest, I would say, not complaints, but one of the big things online that people talked about was the movement is of dubious origins, a Chinese, more than likely a seagull movement or something. But I'll tell you, I've sold hundreds of these. The number that I've gotten back for movement issues, I think is like 1 or 2, which is really, really good, which exceeds most other brands that we carry. Now, I guess we'll start talking about it. Timex put into this a Miyota 8215 movement, which is a 21 joule self-winding automatic movement. In case you don't know who Miyota is owned by Citizen Watch Company, so it is a real company making real movements. High quality, very reliable movements. Granted, it's the 8215, so it's the base of the base, but still a great movement. So for those of you not familiar with automatic watches, you can hand wind this watch by turning the crown. You set the time by pulling out the crown 2 clicks, and you can change the time. And those of you familiar with the Miyota 8215 can watch a second hand dance. There's nothing wrong with that. That is normal. And you change the date by pulling out the crown 1 click. I will say the date is small on this watch. They could have made it a little bit larger. I guess a magnifier would kind of take away from it, but small date, but it's got a date. And then as you wear the watch, because I think this watch is going to attract new people to wristwatch wearing. It's the same, kind of the similar way that Apple got people to wear watches again. This is similar. I think people are going to start to pick this up, the younger generation. It's an automatic, so it winds by the movement of your wrist, by that little rotor turning back and forth. And you wear it all day, or you can wind it, and it builds up a full reserve of around 40, 42 hours or so. So you can wear it all day, not wear it for the following day, and the next morning it should certainly still be running. It has a basic water resistance of 30 meters, and well, I guess I'll zoom in on the dial in a second. There is a little bit of lume on the hands. There's none on the dial. I'll shut the lights out for a second just so you can see. So I call that a classy amount of lume. Enough for a dress watch. No dots around the outside to make it look busy. In a darkened room, which I am in now, you can tell the time with relative ease. All three models sport the same lume. So let's get in on the dial, and it's going to be a little difficult to see the dial itself because that dome crystal is going to add a little bit of a distorting effect, but it's a very nice dial. It's cupped a little bit or domed down a little bit at the edge of the watch. It looks great. Really looks nice. Stick markers, kind of stick hands. Nice crown, knurling, easy to grab. Like I said, so this is 40 millimeters, which is smaller than a Bambino, which to me is probably the closest thing in competition to this watch. This is a Gen 2 version 3 Bambino. They're like 41 and change millimeters in diameter. And this guy is 40. So there's your comparison. For those of you that say the Bambino is too large for you, maybe this is your entry into the automatic dress watch field, and the Marlin reissue was too small for you. So that's a comparison side by side, just so you can see them. Let's talk about price. So these come in at $249, which in my opinion is an excellent price. Before you bring up that the Bambino can be had for what, $160, $170, keep in mind this is a Timex. There is branding behind it, there's advertising behind it, and you pay for advertising no matter what, even if you don't watch the advertisements. You pay for QC, you pay for everything. And like I said with the original reissue, even though the movements of dubious origin had almost no complaints with movement problems. So they're doing a fine job on taking care of weeding out the issues before they leave the factory. Before we move on to the other two, and they're all the same price, $249. Before we move on to the other two, I want to bring one thing to light as I flip it over. I guess you can look at some of the back if you want. It's got the part number. I see that TW, it's upside down. TW2T22700. Automatic movement, water resistant, 30 meters, stainless steel. So like I said, the movement's Japanese. It's a Miyota. The strap is from China, and these stickers are required for import into the USA. They're called country of origin stickers. And then you can see it's got its own rotor. It says Timex on it. It's actually a stock Miyota rotor. They've just engraved it with their company name on it. Unadjusted 21 joule movement. And again, for low cost, that's fine. I wanted to talk about the movement for a second. So it's an 8215. Those of you that don't know, the 8215 is, did I say if it hacked? It does not hack, right? So it hand winds. It doesn't hack, which means when you pull out the crown set the time, the seconds hand does not stop. We'll talk about that hesitation in a second. That's what I'm getting into. It's a unidirectional rotor, which means it only winds the movement in one direction. In the other direction, it's going to flywheel. It's just going to spin like crazy. Again, this is not a sign of a bad movement. The Valjoux 7750, which is the premier chronograph, Swiss chronograph movement, does the same exact thing. I'm going to try to get it to rotate quickly. See? It's not winding the watch, it's just freewheeling around in the opposite direction. So when that happens, or when the watch does take a sharp knock, this is any 8215 movement. I'm going to show you what is called Miyota stutter, if you will. Second hand hesitation, whatever it may be. Watch the second hand after I knock the watch. You see it was stopped? Stopped. So what's going on? They say, oh, this watch is, it's junk, it's a piece of crap. It's not. This is normal. This is the way an indirect driven watch movement works. The second hand is driven indirectly by the movement. There is a little bit of play in the gears to the amount of 1 to 2 seconds. If you knock the watch, you can actually get that gear mesh, the play in the gears, to unwind, if you will. That's a bad term, but you get the 2 gears to move, and it doesn't look like the second hand is moving for 2 seconds. And it's really not. It's not moving. But timekeeping accuracy is not affected by this. I cannot say it enough. A lot of other watches with indirect drive do this. But I do want to bring it up as a matter of fact because, like I said, I think a lot of people are going to get into this that weren't familiar with watches to begin with. So I think that's worthy of note. You'll never see it happen unless you bang the watch on your wrist and you look at it immediately. So let's, enough of the yapping, right? Let's move on to the black dial. So it's the same watch. Everything about this is exactly the same. It's just the color of the dial is black. The color of the strap is actually pretty much about the same brown. Maybe it's a little bit different. I don't think it's tanning differences. I think it's actually a different color. Brown, black dial, silver stick markers, stick hands, nice silver seconds hand, a little bit of lume on the hands. Very handsome looking watch. Indeed, for $249, a knockout of a gentleman's dress watch. Little old, little new, something, what's old is new again, kind of thing going on here. So we have a vintage style, a little bit of a larger case, 40 millimeters, 40 years ago would have been considered very large. Today, I would say 40 is, maybe even a little bit below normal, as most watches are coming out being 41, like the Bambino. But this is the black dial in the silver case. And let's check out the gold one. This is the one that I feel will probably be the least popular of the bunch. I want to show you that the buckle was signed. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. Just for, usually gold is one of the bottom feeders. Yellow gold case, hands, markers, still has the lume, wind it up, has the yellow gold seconds hand. This one now will come on a black strap, matching buckle. That's signed though, nice touch. Case back is still going to be stainless steel. Because they don't want the plating to rub off. But at $249, nice looking watch, good looking dress watch. And again, I take my popularity of what I think is going to be most popular off of the Bambino. The white dial, silver dial Bambino sell the best. The black dials second, and then the gold and rose gold cases go last. In this case, I'm only seeing a yellow gold tone case. Let's pop the silver dial on the wrist, check it out, and then we will finish up the video. So there she is on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. No problem at all. 48 millimeters, fits 48 from tip to tip, 40 on the diameter. Fits me fine, looks great. On the strap, I've got another probably down to a 6-inch wrist if you wanted to wear it, and it goes way up from there, another 1.5 inches or so if I wanted to. Looks awesome, feels awesome. The strap here might be one of the biggest surprises to come on the watch. The strap on the original reissue Marlin, I wasn't really a fan of. It was, I guess they were going for that old look, kind of snakeskin kind of look. This though, wow, this looks really nice. Like an old pair of leather shoes, just fits really nicely. This has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com showing you the new Timex Marlin Automatic. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below and I will be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.